everyone.
Oh,
Welcome to our Monday night, the end of September. Not really. It's the end of we're covering the whole season, first season of She-Hulk. Though the September will continue throughout October. Oh, that's she. It's not September. It's she. What is it? It's Jen Walt-tober. What's that?
that's right.
Yeah, Jen Walt-tober. Because we were going to talk about the episode 9 of She-Hulk. Whose show is this? But yeah, and the whole season probably as a whole. I'm here with Rory and Chad. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you, Chad? Oh, he's using sign language.
Am I still muted?
No, now you're good.
How are you?
Okay, that's funny. I was chewing the whole time with the mic on, and then I muted it when I wanted to talk. So that's how I'm doing.
All right.
I don't know which way to turn the screw now. I feel like everything I do is loosening it. I should have done this before the stream started. Anyways,
We
yeah,
are prepared tonight.
yeah. What do you guys think about this episode? Very fun. Fun. I think I had fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot.
I described this episode as the episode where they jumped a shark, but they were riding another shark while they jumped it. So like the two sharks canceled each other out, and they just got all of the glitz and glam on it. I really like this show.
Yeah, this is definitely the one with it. The breaking the fourth wall stuff really hit in this one. I guess or like talking to the camera in a sitcom is not a new thing, but
yeah,
jumping through the different shows on the app, that was fun.
Yeah, that one actually got me for a minute. I was like, did something just happen? Like they let it linger just long enough for me to be like, this, what?
Yeah, and the Disney Plus app on the PlayStation 4 is so bad that happens
All the
every
time.
6 minutes,
Yeah.
anyways. So I just assumed they got me.
Oh, that's great. Um, so one of the things about the show from the beginning, they had like the premise of the show. They talked about how she was going to be breaking the fourth wall, and I assumed that they just mentioned John Byrne's work on She-Hulk, uh, the sensational run, that they were just using it as a sort of like, this is where the fourth wall breaking stuff comes from.
Mhm.
And because everything else in the show, like the working for in superhuman law, specifically the characters of Mallory and Pug, both of them, like all of that stuff comes from Dan Slott's run on She-Hulk.
Now,
But this episode was so heavily influenced by the Byrne run. Like that was the one where she would like literally threaten the writer and artist of the book when she didn't like the way that things were going, and she would, like, whenever things would get all weird, she would start yelling at them. So for her to come out and try and find Kevin Feige, uh is it Feige?
I've
Feige?
heard a lot of things. Feige is the word I hear the most often, which is probably the most wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People say the most. That's my always.
But anyway, she wanted to find the guy that was in charge,
Right.
so that she could give him a piece of her mind and get an ending that she liked, which and that is absolutely the kind of She-Hulk that we saw back in the 80s.
Which as a kid I did not enjoy as much as I do now. So I've learned how to appreciate different mediums more, which is something that I'm. It's not until I realized that it was like, oh, this is directly like the comic books from when I was a kid.
Right.
I never liked this when I was a kid, but this is amazing now.
Hmm.
The funny thing that I read today, because I will admit that I got a little heartbroken when Kevin said she wasn't going to get in a movie.
Uh,
I was like, oh no, please say it isn't so. And the writer, the gal, I forget her first name now,
Jessica Gao, I think.
Jessica Gao,
yeah.
was saying that she had been trying to write a traditional Marvel movie ending for this series, and it was
Right.
actually Kevin that was like, "That's not what this is about. Why are you doing that? Do whatever you want." So making him the villain is kind of funny because
Yeah.
the real Kevin is the one that told her to write this one.
Mhm.
Um, so
And
I
has anyone
enjoyed
seen
that.
the real Kevin doing like creative stuff for the MCU, or could he actually be a robot and then he's the Kevin that we see on movie premieres and stuff? That's just like a fleshed avatar that he uses for photo ops.
I mean, that would make a lot more sense
Yeah.
than just some guy named Kevin being really good at this.
Mhm.
For the last 15 years.
Presumably, someone has seen him in not being the creative guy, but telling
Right.
the creatives what to do. But even that doesn't prove that he's not, a flesh avatar for
Yeah.
for of a powerful superhero
Yeah.
creating AI.
The knowledge enhanced visual interconnectivity nexus.
Hmm. When I don't, do you guys watch with captioning on?
I do.
Yes. Yeah.
So the first time that they mention his name and the initials popped up on there like an
Right.
acronym, I was just like, that's weird. Was the first draft were they not allowed to say his name like Voldemort or something? And they were supposed to spell it out like Kevin,
Right.
and s- it kept on popping up like that every time they said Kevin.
Yeah.
And right before she went in and saw the robot, I'm just like, that's gonna be hilarious if it's like some kind of robot or something.
When the robot showed up for the first time, I was like, "Oh, this is Portal now."
Yeah.
That's
My
cool.
my absolute favorite part of the robot though is the fact that they made the little lens visor
Right.
look like Kevin's hat
I didn't
because
notice that.
he always has the
Yeah.
baseball cap.
I I also read about that. He, when he was reading the script, he was like, "You can't put a baseball hat on the robot," and the writer was like, "If you don't let me put a baseball hat on it, I
Ah.
quit." And uh, he he sat there and he thought for a minute, and he was like, "Well, it's been nice working with you. You've been doing a great job, and we wish you luck in everything you do." And
Yeah.
then somebody else was the one that said, "What if we just incorporated it into the design of the robot?" So
Yeah, because
good
I didn't
eye,
even
'cause I
notice.
didn't catch
Yeah,
that.
that
Yeah,
little visor. Yeah, it's very very obvious. Like it's got the one blue and one green one because he's got hetero chromatic eyes. Maybe. Probably.
yeah.
I have no
And it's
idea what
hanging
his eye
from the
colors are.
ceiling because he has no legs.
Yeah. I've never seen his legs in a picture.
Um, but yeah, I
Mhm.
really enjoyed this episode. I I feel like, and I know this is cheating, but I feel like everything you guys were saying about the uh, the turn in the show last week,
Hmm.
uh, She-Hulk directly answered in this episode, and then switched it back. It was just saying like, no, let's just do the thing. So it was very meta, but very good at the
Yeah,
same time.
yeah, it was well done. Could have been. Yeah, it could have been a lot more dramatic dealing with all that stuff. But
Yeah.
it's fun.
Hmm. I wish, like when I was watching it, I was like, this is great. It's wonderful. It's hilarious. It's smart. It's funny.
Yeah.
I really wanted more punching though.
It's true. It doesn't smash a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They put a lot of action in the last episode. Maybe that's what
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
one.
I will admit that that's my one problem with the idea of a superhero TV show is it costs so much to do the special effects right, and often it's not. If you're not doing it right, then why are you doing it? And
Right.
She-Hulk's a great example of that. Like they've got her walking around, but I do want more Smash.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's when you have Kyle wants to know who broke the internet. It took him 10 minutes to get us on the Steam. Right. So yeah, and Rory might be the internet breaker because he was having connection issues earlier, so I'm sure
Yeah.
that's rippled throughout the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
If he's not the breaker of internet, he's at least the bender of internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rory Bending Rodriguez, that's his full name.
I did
Thank
really appreciate the fake out of Abomination looking like he was going to be the villain, and then turning out that he's just employed by the villains unwittingly to give motivational talks.
Right.
Still
Like, it sound-
violating his parole, so they
It
could turn
sounded
him
like
back.
he didn't even know that they were bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was just like, I'm a motivational speaker and people are paying me to motivate them.
But I really enjoyed that fake out. And I also really enjoyed the depiction of Pug in this episode,
Right.
where when they sent him in, he was uncomfortable talking with douchey bros, because I was like, this is a really realistic thing of like, if you're not this kind of douchey guy,
Right.
it's really uncomfortable and hard to fake that as a not douchey guy.
Right.
Like that, just seeing this show acknowledge that went a long way to like, how could you possibly be upset about this show? Like they full on wrote in there they gave an honest description of what it's like to be an actual decent dude, as well as just everybody dealing with this type of individual.
Right. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, 'cause he's like a dumb bro kind of guy, but he still has that basic decency in there. And he's not full on.
Yeah.
Whatever. Kind of.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
like
nothing
cool
wrong
dude.
with being a
Yeah.
dumb bro.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Look-
there's nothing inherently toxic about that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's he's a completely different kind of dumb, as opposed to like the dude from the prosecutor's office she used to work with,
Right. Yeah.
who is also very dumb, but in a totally different way.
Yeah, like Pug seems like he's like competent at his job. He's probably a smart guy. Like when you're sitting around talking with him, he just is into shoes,
Yeah.
which I think is dumb.
He's
But-
more of like sort of an airheaded kind of dude.
Yeah,
Like he's a himbo.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really appreciated this episode. I enjoyed that they showed her getting nailed for losing her temper, because that's exactly what would happen and does happen when people are pushed too far. The first person to get in trouble is the person that loses their temper.
Right.
Not saying it's right. That's just what happens.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate even how much she went about doing it the right way after she, like the legal way, right after. It did not bother me, but I was surprised by it, Kyle. I also read from that one that this was the first episode filmed, and that's why they didn't know she was going to be popular yet. They hadn't even cast the character, so they didn't know how good she was going to do.
Right. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah, it seems like she should have been there with Wong at the end.
yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like they could have reshot the post credit scene to have Madison and Wong hanging out.
It's like I don't understand why they didn't spend some of their time berating all of their CGI people and saying that they needed to green screen her in.
Yeah,
Um, what one of the things that I really really loved about this episode is how animated Tatiana Maslany is. Like the faces that she was making was great.
oh yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
that was a good face.
there's without like I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Like I could easily fanboy over her and her performance
Yeah.
throughout the entire stream. Like
Mhm.
she's just like it's hard to point out one thing at all that she did wrong
Mhm.
at any
Yeah.
point in time.
Yeah, like she's been a great actress throughout the entire show, and I think that you know uh, there's been no point in which I've found her acting to be lacking or whatever. But now it's like, oh, you're actually this extremely good actor who can make funny faces too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I don't see any reason for other actresses. Like this is it, we're good.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they gave her a show where she's played all of the roles.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah, it makes me
Orphan
really
Black.
regret that I never watched Orphan Black
Yeah,
that much. Like I got 2 episodes in, I said this show's great. I gotta watch more of this, and then never watched it again.
I want to say like I got 2 episodes in,
Hmm.
maybe three, and then lost my fix. Like I couldn't get it anymore.
right.
It wasn't streaming on the right service or whatever. But this show has made it a contender. If it's on anything we can stream,
Yeah,
Yep,
I'd be down
go
to sit
back
down
and
and watch
start
that.
watching that again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Orphan Blackuary. Last time I checked, it wasn't. Maybe him.
Um,
Yeah. One day,
Yeah.
we'll get the box set DVDs.
Speaking of looking forward to what we're doing, other than this, have we figured out what we're doing next week?
No, I mean nobody's said the sex change it yet, so I am assuming we're just going to continue She-Timber through.
Yeah, what are we gonna watch though?
yeah, we're gonna sit down and rewatch this series.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm fine with that.
yeah, we can do that. Any other She-Hulk related things? Every episode of anything she's guest starred on a cartoon or something.
Well, I gave you guys the list of the
Yeah.
animated stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad to look that up because we're doing that next week. Yeah.
Or do we want to? No, we're saying Halloween. We're gonna do a live watch of Werewolf by Night, right?
Yeah. That's a good idea. We're doing a live watch. Yeah, we'll do that. How long is that? An hour? I
I
didn't know
want to
they're
say it's
doing
an hour and a
Orphan Black.
half.
Okay, cool. So full length movie. Yeah, I didn't know that they had Orphan Black audiobooks. Maybe that's where we got to start. Because we can't stream it for free. You know,
and also if that's what she's campaigning for, she has my vote. I'll jump in. Also, I'm just gonna go ahead and say like she's good enough that I would pick something up or go watch it just because she was in it. She's
yeah, I don't know
really
what else
talented.
she's done. Yeah,
Isn't she in the new Matlock?
I didn't know there was a new Black Clock.
Okay, if she's gonna get herself pigeonholed in law shows,
Yeah, everything I know about Matlock, much like a lot of things, I just only know from The Simpsons, which is that it's for old people. That's all I know.
I
Oh,
watched
sorry,
a
not
lot of-
Matlock. Perry Mason,
Oh,
I did
which
watch a lot of
is
Matlock
not-
with my grandma.
it's not quite as an old folk show as Matlock was. Although Perry Mason was also kind of an older
yeah.
person's show.
Yeah, I didn't know she won an Emmy. I never really followed her career other than knowing that she was on Orphan Black and then not taking the time to watch it. But knowing that it was a good show that everyone liked. Yeah. What was I doing in 2013? Watching all the Chris Catholic show.
Well, not watching the BBC, I guess.
Yeah. Right. This show, yeah, look the intro for this one. They did like the throwback. I'm assuming that it was all references to the '70s Incredible Hulk show. I never saw it. I think I went right out on that tonight.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was
Yeah.
referencing the old school Incredible Hulk show.
I need to look up because that one they had like a live action person playing She-Hulk as the big giant
Yeah,
She-Hulk in it. I wonder who that person was.
it was a dude.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's fun. Everything was
Yeah.
a lot of pictures.
Well, especially because like it had a little bit of a wobble in it. I feel like right as everything was like ramping up, and right at the point where I was like, "What is even going on?" That's when she called it,
Right.
and that I thought that's hard to expertly time in a recorded thing. Like you can do that in like a live performance where you keep the chaos going right until the audience is starting to get till you can feel the audience, right? But
Right.
just all the way across the board, directing, shooting wise, everything that was that I thought was really well done, craftsmanship wise.
Yeah.
Oh, we finally see what David's robot looks like without the flesh bot.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I never saw the original Hulk show, so I didn't know how much of that intro was like scene for scene, like that.
Yeah, I didn't know if
A
it was scene for
lot of
scene,
it was
but
scene for scene.
I really enjoyed I know enough about it to have understood the reference in context, but not from my own personal experience.
Right.
Do not believe I was alive when it was originally airing, but I did watch it when I was young.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
and I recognized immediately that that's what it was, and I could see a lot of the scenes where I was just like, oh yeah, no, this is exactly the thing. Like there's I want to say like maybe 3 or 4 parts where it's dramatically different, but for the
Right.
most part, they tried to get very, very close.
Yeah.
Like it, I'm sure that there's a video somewhere on the internet where they're doing a side by side comparison.
Oh yeah. If not, no,
Yeah.
definitely by the end of the week, I'm sure.
hmm
Yeah, 78, 81, yeah. So that was before my time.
Yeah.
I'm a very young man. I was born after 9/11. That's not true. But there's a new girl at work that is. So I was like, that's interesting to go, oh yeah, there's adults that are born after 9/11.
Oh, my favorite thing to do with
Yeah.
people who were born after the year 2000, uh, show them uh show them Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch
Okay.
That's a good one.
because they're only familiar with Mark Wahlberg, the actor. So,
Yeah.
uh, the first 2 times I did this, they're like, "Is this like a Saturday Night Live thing, or is this College Humor? Or this is a sketch, right? This isn't real."
I personally like doubling up on that one and showing them Marky Mark on Good Vibrations.
Right.
Mhm.
Just because hearing him angrily yell feel it,"
Mhm.
is you're fucking up the Beach Boys and Mark Wahlberg. Right?
Yeah. I just want to show people his mugshots from his hate crime convictions. Then, like,
No, that's
Mark
what you
Wahlberg
follow it
doesn't
up
show
with.
people.
You're
Right.
like,
Yeah.
oh, this is when he was a rapper. It was after he did the racially based
Fine.
hate crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he did chill out with the racially motivated violence after he got rich. So maybe that's the solution. Yes, I am on social
Yeah,
security because I
yeah.
know
If we just make everyone who attacks Asian people super rich, maybe they'll stop.
yeah.
I don't know. If you start that, then I'm definitely going to have to punch one of you guys. But afterwards, I will take you out for drinks.
Yeah.
I nominate David.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see if anyone was going to say anything, but I was just like, look, if no one else is going to do it, I will.
Um,
And you can only punch him half as hard.
I mean, I don't need to be like super rich, like just, moderately wealthy. So like, I don't have to like, I think like tops a black eye,
Oh, both of the Wahlbergs were supposed to be
Oh.
New Kids? I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's another thing. Before my time.
New Kids was like just a little bit before my time. Like, I feel like if I was like 2 years older, then I would have been classmates with girls that were going nuts about
Right.
them.
Yeah. So I remember my oldest cousin was really into it. She was like 5, 6 years older than me. Yeah.
I grew up in the country, so they never quite broke through the same way up there.
To describe to people what a block is, it's the whole thing. They think of things in acres out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not even a joke. I did not know what a block was.
I still don't know what an acre is.
It's like a country block.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's a block made of grass.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But you could tell me that it's any sort of. You can tell me it's like a quarter mile in length on each side, or 10 miles, and I'll believe you. I really have no idea.
Rory, do you know the actual measurements of an acre?
I don't know the actual measurements, but I do know that my backyard was like 15 acres or something like that,
geez.
and then, but only like one of them was cleared of trees. Between 1 and 3. That's why I can't get a visualization on it, because it's like,
Right.
I remember how much grass there was before the trees, but I forget how many acres that was supposed to be. But I mean, also where I grew up, like land was like $1 an acre. So
that's the time to do it. And one of these days we're gonna road trip out to the country and figure out how big an acre is. That's why you drafted him in the block. West area was murky, marked left, and his grades were awful, and his parents made him drop out. Oh, so he was still in school. So that was right around the time he was going around throwing rocks at black children and calling them the N-word.
Yeah, and blinding Asian guys.
Yeah.
So it's apparently 43,560 square feet.
I don't know what that is either.
I don't know what that is either.
The simplest way to visualize an acre is as a square. In other words, the piece of land has the same length and width, which means that it's 208 feet long by 208 feet wide.
Okay.
I can get an idea of that.
208 is a weird number that they decided to stop on.
I feel like it has something to do with like how much an ox can work in a day or something.
It's probably how much like string a blanket can unravel into.
Yeah.
Some other fucked up thing that white people figured out how to screw people over.
Why is an acre 208 feet long?
We'll figure it out. 608 square feet? No, I think it's more than that. It's square. I don't know. I don't know how square footage works either. We'll figure this all out in Green Acre. Old episodes of Green Acres.
Green, 43,568 square feet. It's a place to be. Farm living is a life for me.
They're gonna reboot that. Oh, it's
Oh,
on
man.
Tubi. We will watch it. Speaking of green stuff, She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good show.
yeah.
High recommendation. Like I don't know that I would say it's my favorite Marvel TV show that they've put out on Disney Plus,
Mm.
but it's up there.
It's
I
very,
feel
I think
like-
very different than the MCU movies, but yeah. What you saying, right?
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I feel like it's so different that I couldn't, in fairness, like compare it to the other MCU stuff,
Right.
just because it is so different. But yeah, it's high up there on what I think is like is quality, and
Mhm.
that's the thing is like I can legitimately understand somebody not liking this show, like just
Right.
not liking the comedy, not liking the style of the show, whatever. I can understand that. But from a quality perspective, this is a really well crafted show,
Yeah.
and they put together exactly what they were trying to put together.
Right.
So credit where it's due on that, even if you didn't like it. Like,
As a-
can you nitpick a little things here and there? Sure, but
Yeah, I think overall it's successful at being a fun sitcom. As far as the $108,000 per acre in Hawaii, I think is that average? Because I feel like on the Big Island, like especially on the west side or something, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like in
It's
the lava
cheaper on the
zone?
Big Island, but
yeah, in the long run.
I don't think it's cheap.
Yeah,
Like I think it's still pretty expensive over there. And that's dealing with both lava and crackheads stealing all of your equipment to build your house.
Don't move to Hawaii, internet. Um,
If you do, though, go to the Big Island.
yeah.
It's a lot of
Especially if
space.
you're on crack.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Unless, of course, you're into construction, because they will steal it.
Yeah.
Also, I think we just all showed our age where we said it was crack, and it's clearly meth.
Yeah.
yeah. Next, I'm very young, so I was thinking fentanyl, which I don't know what that drug does other than kill people. Is it just poison? I was thinking about that.
It's like one of the things that they use to like cut it or otherwise like bump up the effects. But yeah, too
Right.
much of it.
Okay.
It
So we really
interacts
used to cut
badly
it
with a
just-
lot of drugs.
It would just cut it with like baby powder or something, right? But now they're using an actual drug that's way more potent. So you think you would just, well, don't worry, it doesn't. Rory's not allowed to talk about drugs on the internet anymore, per his parole agreement.
There is supposed to be a component to it that makes it better,
Oh,
but
okay.
it also, there's the whole like you might die.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like roofies in that where a little bit of sleeping medication will make you sleep, but a little bit more mixed with a little bit too much alcohol and it kills you.
Right.
And that's a hard thing to measure, and especially when it comes to like when they're doing or when they're using drugs for knocking a person out. Those are usually like medically crafted pills that are being misused, right? And
Right.
fentanyl is not even being medically crafted or changed, and that's why so many more people are dying with it.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're putting it into drugs to make them. There's, I don't know, but I'm not a drug person. Anyways,
Yeah.
She-Hulk.
I will say that one part of this episode that I did not care for was the introduction of Scar this way.
It's from The Lion King.
Yeah,
No, with a K.
Oh, right.
and 2 A's, but I'm not telling you where they go.
Oh, you think that's the Hulk's son with Madison?
If it's not, then I'm upset that Madison has been shafted again, but not shafted.
Right.
Yeah, I just it felt like it was just kind of like thrown in there, which is what these all are.
Right.
But it's there was a part of me that was like, this is a huge story arc that could be happening, but it's also just kind of like
Yeah. I mean, it's because like with that and then like some of the other stuff, like with them taking Abomination away in the portal at the end. I think these are all the things that are being set up for other shows or movies that we didn't know about. I guess so. They're still sneaking all that stuff in, but they're being more fun about it at least. What were you saying, Rory?
I was just saying like the whole being a deadbeat dad being a throwaway thing where it's like, oh, that's real for a lot of people.
Yeah, at least he went and got his son and picked
I'd
him up and brought
assume
him.
Yeah.
that at least the
Welcome to the family.
people with speaking parts were the actual writers. Because
Yeah, that makes
I,
sense. Yeah.
I was just like, oh, there's an Asian woman that is talking. That must be the actual Asian writer.
Yeah.
It is not.
It
Oh,
isn't.
I read about this in the scene. No, they brought her in, that actress in to play her,
ah,
and then during the shooting of it, they realized they didn't have enough people, or like the night before, but because of COVID, they didn't have time to clear other actors to jump in the scene, and that's why some of the
ah.
writers are in that scene.
Oh, okay, so it's some writers and some actors.
Right.
Yeah,
She
but all
was
the speaking parts were actors, I guess.
Oh, that makes sense. I don't know if you guys know about Jessica Gal, how she was a writer from Rick and Morty. She wrote the Pickle Rick episode,
Hmm.
and that
Which
was the
is one
one
of the
where
reasons why I didn't understand why all the people that were upset about the show being a thing were so upset. Because I'm like, you motherfuckers loved Pickle Rick.
yeah, everybody
Don't
loves Pickle
lie to
Rick.
me. I know you did.
I'll dig out my Pickle Rick somewhere. But yeah, Pickle Rick was great. But that episode they had that was when the family goes to see the psychologist, right?
Hmm.
And her name is
Mhm.
Dr. Wong. She's played by Susan Sarandon. Originally, they were going to have an Asian actress play her, but then Susan Sarandon called. Was like, "Can I be on the show?" I'm like, yeah. Why don't you play this character? And just recast it as a white character with an Asian name. But there's white women with Asian names. My wife could have had one if she took my last name and I had an Asian last name. But
I was just about to say, your wife's not a good example of this.
Yeah. Oh, she's halfway there. Like if things were just a little bit different, then
Two things would have to be different.
yeah. But there are white women married to Asian men who took their last names.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
not-
there are just people who are Asian but appear to be very white.
Yeah.
Because they're only part, and
Yeah.
the white genes were just stronger.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple of kids that I was friends with from Punahou, where I would not have guessed that they were Asian at all until I learned that their last name was Hanagami, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that you guys don't look like you should be Hanagamis.
Got me at all. But then she did a whole podcast with Dan Harmon about that called Whiting Longs or Writing Longs. I can't remember exactly what the pun was. That's what I know. Yeah.
I don't think so,
No,
but
I-
I would have accepted the human version of him if they had him standing behind a curtain operating the robot.
Yeah.
I would have also accepted him saying no lines, but just dressed in like a white sports coat, sitting back behind a desk with just a hat on. Then that would have also been okay.
Yeah, it would have been fun to see him in it, but I think I like the robot. I think it was a good choice to do the robot.
Hmm.
Not like I just to answer this question a little bit more. I don't think um, as like a fanboy, I don't think I can think of one thing that would have made this show better other than giving the visual effects artists more time to do the special effects. Um, and that's just a production thing, not like
Right.
nothing that was crafted within this show. Like if you gave it more budget and more fight scenes and let it run for another 10 episodes, I would consider all of those things good. But for what they were doing with what they had, I can't think of a way to make it better.
Yeah, because I mean, I didn't go into this thinking a lot about She-Hulk and what all the She-Hulk villains were or anything like that's something, and I didn't have any expectations. So I can just
There were a
She-Hulk
few
stuff.
things
Yeah,
that I would have liked to have seen in this show that I didn't get to see, but nothing that breaks the show or makes it weaker in comparison at all. It's just, oh, well, maybe they'll get to see that next year. Or not next year, but in 2.5 years when the
right.
season 2 comes out. Because I doubt that they would turn it around quickly enough for it to be on the schedule.
Yeah,
Well, and I think too, there's something said there for leaving us wanting more. Like they could have easily overdone this season and had it be like, "We're okay. I know She-Hulk and where she's at, and I'll I want to see her cameos randomly, but I'm done with her story arc." And this whole thing just felt like her origin story. But there's still a lot of story to tell, a lot of like really good bits to get to, and I'm down for them. I'm not.
yeah, yeah. Let's see what she gets up to after this. Like, is she gonna stay in LA? Is she going to move to New York? What's going? I don't know. Think she'll be in the next season of the Daredevil show?
I really hope
I doubt
so.
it.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I know. I think there might be a chance for like Jennifer Walters to show up,
mm.
but just budget wise, I doubt that we'll get a whole lot of She-Hulk action. Um, Also, just no offense to Daredevil, but give She-Hulk another like 5 to 6 months of being a She-Hulk, and nobody that he fights is. She's not going to have any problem with anybody in his league.
yeah. She's an
So.
indestructible giant, super strong. Yeah,
Yeah.
She more that shows.
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
I would like to see more women or minority led TV shows. But I mean, we are getting some. Like we just had Ms. Marvel. There's going to be the Echo show.
Mhm.
Not Echo the Dolphin or Mr.
No,
Echo
no,
from Lost.
Echo from the Hawkeye show,
Oh, okay.
who's really a Daredevil character.
Yeah. Because she is like the reverse she's like Daredevil, but
She's like Daredevil crossed with Taskmaster.
yeah,
Okay.
Daremaster.
Not the Taskmaster from the Black Widow movie,
What?
but like real Taskmaster.
Real time. Okay. I need to watch.
I don't think anything went wrong with it.
Oh, The
Netflix,
thing that went wrong with it was that they made another season.
No. Jessica Jones, right?
Jessica Jones.
Mhm.
I don't think that second season was bad.
I'm not talking about the second season. Didn't
Oh,
they make a third one? I thought they made a third one and it was not very good.
No.
I didn't. I may. I know I watched all of them, but I
I
also
watched the
binge
first
watched.
two.
So I binge watch everything, so it's hard for me to remember where seasons are because I just watched through
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Right.
But I don't feel like anything was wrong enough with that show that it should deserve to be canceled. I think that when I think they started building up their TV show and talking about the app and just cut the budget for the Netflix ones
Mhm.
because they were already in talks to be going over to streaming. But
Yeah, I think all the Netflix stuff just kind of got left behind when AMC really started taking off.
I
All the
don't know
deals
that
that were
any of
made.
them really were doing like such bad business for Netflix that they wouldn't have kept it going if Marvel was willing to let them.
Right.
yeah,
Like the only one that was truly a terrible show was Iron Fist, and that was only terrible for one season. The second season was fine, I guess.
No.
yeah.
But yeah, there were 3 seasons of Jessica Jones. The first season was amazing. The second season was pretty good. The third season, I don't remember at what point I said I can't watch this anymore. But there was a point during the third season where I was like, I can't watch this anymore.
Um,
But the first two
This-
seasons were good.
yeah.
I don't think that there was anything wrong with the show, and I think that the first season of Jessica Jones might actually be well. It's hard to rate the Netflix shows by season because, except for Iron Fist, they all had banger first seasons.
uh,
Like Daredevil's was great. Daredevil also had a very good first half of the second season. Uh, Luke Cage came out of the gates with like the first half of the first season probably being uh the best, but
hmm.
it fell off in the second half. Jessica Jones straight through was very, very good. It was neck and neck with Daredevil, I think. And everyone says that Daredevil is like the best thing that Marvel TV ever did. So
Yeah.
that's how good I think that first season of Jessica Jones was.
And I would agree with that. And I would say that I feel like Daredevil might have been better if what you were looking for was like a traditional dark superhero romp. Um, like it was very dramatic, very heavy. But I feel like Jessica Jones had a stronger real world vibe, and real issue vibe. Um,
Right.
I think it
so
was
like
also more thoughtful,
yeah,
just in general. Like I don't think Daredevil really like until season 3. I don't think it really got into like sort of the philosophy of superheroing and everything.
yeah,
Like it was like adjacent to it up until then, especially with the Punisher stuff. But season 3, it really got into sort of the what makes a hero thing, I think, and that's why it had the strongest end out of all the Netflix shows. Have you watched any of those, David?
No, I've seen bits and pieces from roommates and things watching it, but never. I only ever watched a full episode of any night.
Nice. That is awesome.
that is really cool.
Who is Mike Coulter?
Luke Cage.
Luke
Oh,
Cage.
cool.
And a really sexy dude.
Hmm.
Like he comes on screen and like my girlfriend makes noises and I'm like I can't even be mad.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I get it. Um,
Yeah. Kyle was there to get his oil changed, and Mike was there just to get some extra oil to rub it on his muscles. Yeah, Yeah.
Can't
If you
live
want-
in port.
Yeah, you gotta get some
You look like
muscle
that.
oil. Just get used motor oil. You can get it cheap. So you need a lot of it. That's the way to do it. Oh, cool.
Ooh, cool.
Um, as much as I didn't like the Scar reveal in it, I did enjoy the Matt Murdock hanging out with the rest of the Walters family for the picnic. I thought that was
Yeah, that was fun.
fun.
hmm My only problem with the Scar reveal is I'm just like, wait, are you going to reveal Scar but not do Planet Hulk? Because I know that Ragnarok was kind of Planet Hulk,
Right.
but you didn't really get all of the good stuff.
Yeah.
Most of the good stuff, like, and like, I guess like the thing with the Scar reveal was like, oh, this isn't even like this isn't any reveal that touches on Jen Walters' character that much, other than she has a second cousin now.
Right.
Like, and it wasn't like a villain reveal of like, oh, and this is something that she's going to have to deal with in the future, like every time we saw Thanos or something.
Yeah, this is just more for everyone to know that Scar is a thing now in
Yeah.
the MCU. So we don't know about the X-Men yet. That was
No.
a fun question to ask.
Which I'm just going to go ahead and say, I feel like the guys at the MCU headquarters were like real iffy on whether or not they were going to get the X-Men when they were making plans for the next couple of years, and it feels like suddenly, like, as soon as that got revealed, also all of a sudden there was a lot more like hesitation with any actors saying anything that they knew was happening. Like,
Right.
Oh,
Roy also signed
Disney
an
is
NDA
silenced.
about yeah, about the X-Men.
Mhm.
Yeah. So hey, but yeah, X-Men. Scar. What was Scar's deal? Is he always like half human? Is he like always hulked out? Is that his thing? He's born a little Hulk. Is that his deal? Or
is
is
Hulk
he-
and Alien.
Right.
So
So
yeah,
is he normally like an alien walking around and then he hulks out, or is he always kind of half Hulk, half whatever alien? he is?
I think that's what he is.
No.
Like, I think he might, like, as he gets mad, get bigger, but I don't think he ever like hulks
Right.
out. Like,
I don't think he ever fully de-hulks either.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Hulk.
Or hulks in, I guess.
A lot of the prepositions that go along with hulking is complicated.
But yeah,
Hulk out.
Rory's right. It doesn't add to the show whatsoever, and I'm just like, this needs to be a thing that's established with more backstory than just here you go. Well, that's the thing. We have no idea
Yeah, I don't know.
what Hulk's mom is.
Yeah.
Or not Hulk's mom.
Right.
Who Scar's mom is?
Yeah. It's definitely not Black Widow. We know that. She's,
Yeah, because she's a monster.
Yeah. She's
She
a
can't have
monster.
children. That's what she said.
right.
Yes.
All right. So
Just
Chad,
using that terrible,
that was-
terrible dialogue.
that was the worst. That's what she said I've heard in years.
And Chad, you were out the night we covered Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, yes.
Yeah. Well, we were there with me and Rory and Bob Jones. Bob Jones
I
was
was at
shocked.
home and I was
Yeah.
sick
Oh yeah, that's
and
right.
I wasn't feeling good. And it was still a better night than had I watched that movie again.
It made you feel worse than just being sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bob Jones was very, very shocked when I said, hey, maybe her telling Bruce Banner that she's just been fixed or whatever. You can't have kids. That's her way of saying to him that if they do hook up, he doesn't have to wear a condom against raw dog it. Bob Jones. Very shocked by that idea.
I need a Hulk cream pie.
Well, you know that one dry cleaning place or whatever is going to have knockoff Hulk cream pies now.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't know whether that's like if that's Betty's kid, if it's some slave that he knocked up on Sakaar. Because
That is what we learned.
it's definitely
Yeah.
not going to be one of what was her name? The old one?
Yeah, the old one.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that was also kind of like the thing about World War Hulk is that he was fine on Sakaar until his ship blew up and killed everybody, and that's why he went to war with Earth.
Because he was like, you guys sent me to this planet that feels like it was specifically designed to kill me, and then I take over the planet and I'm in charge of making everyone's life better, and then you murder my wife. Looks like I gotta kill everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna fly this stone spaceship back to Earth and then just kill all of the Illuminati.
But
Well, someone needs to kill all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
they've already done that.
yeah, I'm like that box has been checked in the MCU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Talking about the actual Illuminati.
Same guys.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No. In the comics, the Illuminati is Doctor Strange, Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Black Bolt, and Namor.
Like it was Professor X for a point in time, but
Mhm.
I don't think that he was like a permanent fixture on there.
Right.
Oh, he got added. He came on second. There's two waves of the Illuminati.
Okay.
So, because he was around for the incursions, and also Captain America was on it for a minute, and then
The Illuminati have silenced Rory.
Yes. Yeah. Because they don't want you outing them, doxing all the Illuminati members. Yeah, I've been reading the.
Maybe
Venom.
that's going to be the New World Order in Captain America: New World Order.
Oh.
It's going to be Sam having to form the Illuminati himself in a very un-Sam-like manner.
Hulk Hogan will be there. This time, but I know right at the end.
Because he's the third man.
Yeah. Oh, I was reading. I've been reading the Venom series from like 2014 or whatever.
okay,
And at some point he's dealing with a Mr. Fantastic from a separate universe. The Tinkerer, the creator, maker, some word that means
Maker.
It's a maker. Yes, and he's got like a weird like alien xenomorph helmet thing on, and then they take it off, and he's got a giant, crazy, gross bean head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's the Ultimate Universe, Mr. Fantastic.
which I love that they brought in the evil Reed into the 616. Like, there's a part of me that got really upset at evil Reed, the idea of it, just because even though he's kind of an airhead with social graces, he's also like 616 Reed Richards has always kind of reminded me of like the Tom Hanks of geniuses, where it's like he's always trying to do the rightest thing all the time. So seeing him turn evil hurt more than I thought it would, but he does make a really great villain.
Right. Yeah, 'cause all it takes is that little bit of. I'm so much smarter than everyone else, and the best way to get them to listen to me is to evil stuff. Yeah, for season 2, I want to see Scar's mother show up, and they have a whole um, paternity lawsuit, child support kind of thing. That to have She-Hulk that beat the regular Hulk's lawyer in space
Ooh.
court.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
The
Shit.
two things that I want to see in season 2,
Mm.
number one is I want to see an issue with someone having a multiversal counterpart, uh,
Oh.
and that multiversal counterpart comes to the regular MCU 616, because that's not the real 616, but the counterpart comes to their universe, and they have to deal with the counterpart doing stuff that's ruining that person's name or whatever. That's one thing I want to see. The second thing that I want to see is I want them to explain the room full of comics that you see in the tour of the law firm.
Oh.
Like, I know what the explanation is, but I want them to explain it on a. I was gonna say on TV, but it's like it's not really TV.
Right, but on screen within the storyline, in the world.
Um, shit. You know what? I'm gonna go with the crowd pleaser, and I want her to be arguing for the civil rights for mutants. I want the entire season to be that, like, the preparation for the courtroom drama of the um, the mutant rights movements, and I want it almost like a John Grissom esque,
Right.
but with the breaking the fourth wall still.
Yeah, I want to see that for like the first episode, with the breaking the fourth wall thing being that they still can't say the word mutant, so they just talk around it for the whole episode. We all know what she's talking about, but she can't say it. She has to hold up Wolverine's claws or something in court, but can't say who it is.
I would also want them to introduce Gwenpool.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like, it would
one
be
thing,
really good if like they introduce her during a fourth wall break.
Yeah, that would be fun. Just have her go walk into some sort of neutral space where all of the fourth wall breaking people are.
Hmm.
or I would also be willing. I would be willing to have a straight John Grissom esque superhero drama, courtroom drama, like I was describing, but the entire time you could see that it was shot for us, like it was being played on the screen, and it's just Deadpool, Gwenpool, and like the Kevin bot sitting there making jokes throughout the entirety of the series and throwing popcorn.
Right, like puppets of them would be really
Marvel Science Theater 3000.
Exactly. One thing that I would like to see, just in general in the MCU, is
No, up the stakes have Megan and Cardi.
Yeah,
The whole WEP team.
WEP team.
Yeah. I would like to see them burst the bubble a little bit on recasting a character that has become a mainstay. Not that I want any of the characters necessarily to go away. I like all the actors so far, but I'm waiting for I don't like the killing Iron Man because Robert Downey Jr. doesn't want to do it anymore.
Uh,
I want to see them jump that particular bridge
right.
um, at some point soon because like they have to because you can't just reboot this entire universe. Um, and even if you're not constantly making new Spider-Man movies, you still have to explain what Spider-Man's doing in the universe if you're not killing him. Um, so, and I think TV is probably the best way to do that. Or the small screen.
Yeah.
Um,
Like if they don't make any more Tom Holland Spider-Mans, do you think they'll just grab old Tobey Maguire from another universe and make him the Spider-Man in this universe? I watch
They
that.
they could always introduce Miles while they're ramping up to retire Tom.
That makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense.
but like, I guess that's kind of where I'm getting to is like, I definitely want Miles Morales in the MCU, but I don't like the idea of the MCU ending flagship superheroes in the MCU just because they can't get the actor who played him anymore.
Hmm.
That I think that screws over the comics too much. Because if it's just we're Spider-Man's dead in the movies, but still buy the comics, that doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Um, and it makes it so that like you're putting a cap on the movies of how many you can make. So, but I don't want them to reboot the universe like they've done with everything else. So it's like just bite the bullet. They did it with Bond. We can do it with an actor that you can't get anymore. So
Yeah.
I completely understand where you're coming from,
Yeah.
Rory.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly disagree.
really,
Yep.
okay,
I think that they should move on and
Oh.
never leave a door open to coming back. Once things happen, they happen.
Oh,
Yeah.
I completely agree that once you kill off Tony Stark, you can't bring him back. I 100% agree with that. What I'm saying is that contract negotiations shouldn't be deciding the plot of all of the Avengers, basically.
Right.
That's all. Like how they were saying they didn't know if they were going to make Thor because Chris Hemsworth is up for contract negotiations and wasn't interested in extending. So they're like, yeah, Thor might be done too. And it's like, well, that's a stupid reason not to make Thor movies. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of big blonde guys.
Right. Yeah. So I think now that they have the multiverse stuff, they can just grab a Thor from another universe and just keep going. Yeah. I don't know if we want to put a 616 like in the corner of the show, but maybe if we're going to be doing stuff in different universes, we have to do something to differentiate them. Maybe. I don't know.
I think that it should be established that
Mm.
if things are happening in an alternate universe, it should not be a thing that they present to us as a movie, and then at the end of the movie, they're like, "Oh, psych! None of these people died.
Right.
This was an alternate universe." That is a horrible cheat. I don't want them to start doing that because then they're gonna feel like they can do it all the time. Uh, but I think that the tease of having something potentially happen in alternate universes, like if during Multiverse of Madness there was a like little clock in the corner that told you which universe everything was happening in,
Oh yeah, that would have.
Yeah.
uh, that would have been annoying and distracting.
No. They could have worked in that movie because he's jumping through all the different universes, having some kind of Easter egg
Yeah,
thing that let you know.
I
Would have
feel
worked
I
in that.
feel like every place they went to was different enough
Mhm.
that it's semi self-evident.
Right.
Although I can see the idea where it may not be as evident in the hands of a director that's not Sam Raimi.
Right.
You know, it may be more difficult for other people to spell out the differences to people, or it might be that no one else is going to get the same sort of freedoms that Sam Raimi did. And I was trying to figure out a different way to put this, and that's why I was babbling. But it could just be that people are stupid
Right.
and they're going to need that. Uh, and maybe it's better to do safety rails, but I feel like that takes away from some storytelling ability.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely don't think it needs to be on screen the entire time. Um, like I think you could put that in the title or in the caption scene, or if you're doing a show where you're jumping universes, like the same thing that they do when you go to a different planet, where they just put it on the screen of like, this is where you are now.
Yeah.
But I agree that no fake out with the universe. That's not fair.
We even have to. I don't think like all the 2099 stuff that wasn't a separate universe, right? But if they were to do that, it's basically it's a different storyline, kind of, right? So like, if they just did it, I mean not story, but yeah,
Yeah, I think it was both.
Right.
It was a separate universe, or it was a separate timeline,
right,
but the same universe. And there's
Like
it
it
gets real
followed
wishy
our
washy.
universe, but it wasn't a continuation. Like it wasn't set in stone. This is the future of the Marvel
right,
universe.
yeah. And they don't have to worry
imposed
about
a
things that
future.
were happening in the concurrent regular Spider-Man universe wasn't affecting stuff in the 2099 one. It's kind of like
Right.
Right.
I think that they had basically said like nothing that happens in the regular Marvel universe or the current time 616 is going to affect 2099
right,
because they're like couldn't possibly affect anything 100 years in the future.
yeah,
But like they did have things where like some people were still alive,
Hmm.
and that wasn't necessarily true. So it's definitely a separate timeline. Just
right.
hmm Also,
uh,
Doom 2099 was regular Doom.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I was thinking
uh,
if they do something like that as a show, then it would be like, okay, this is like a separate thing. So I don't need that.
I do not ever want to watch any of the 2099 shows on any of the 2099 books as a TV show unless
Yeah.
they're also going to make sure to include Ravage in the lineup.
Which one is Ravage?
The worst one. He was one of Stan Lee's last creations, and you
oh.
can tell.
I truly hope they don't make any of the 2099 comics into a TV show, because Batman Beyond did that as well as it can be done.
Uh-huh.
Like it's just hands
Also,
down that's a great TV show. I'm not knocking it, but it's better.
yeah,
Yeah.
Batman Beyond was incredibly good, and honestly, even Spider-Man 2099, which I collected like I want to say the first 50 issues of or something
Wow.
like that. I'm sure I got past number 30. I don't know exactly how high up there I got, but I was reading that for a while, and that was by far the best thing that 2099 had to offer, and it was not great.
I mean, it was pretty good for the time, because that was
Mhm.
also like that was a real hit or miss era of comics where
Yeah.
things could be really good or really bad, sometimes from issue to issue. Um,
Yeah. I think my brother had gotten a couple of issues of Spider-Man 2099. It seemed kind of cool, but yeah, didn't really get into it. That's Ravage. He's got some kind of spiky guy.
yes.
Paul Philip Ravage was the CEO of ECO, a subsidiary of Alchemax that works to combat polluters. Ravage's life
Ah,
was changed when he was framed for murder in response to questioning the secrets of the company and the violent, often fatal methods it used. A fugitive armed with a blaster, a cog used as a shuriken, and a Kevlar vest, Ravage was often the target of both the police and Alchemax. Yada, yada, yada. At some point, he gets animal type powers.
ah. And from the Muppet Show, he's a great drummer.
hmm
Um,
Speaking of Stan Lee, like, where would you guys put the Stan Lee cameo in this episode? We skipped that last week. Maybe we did.
I'd have him at the cookout.
Oh yeah. Or have him instead of the robot.
I definitely would not have had Stan Lee as Kevin.
Oh yeah. Just have it be Stan and he's a robot Stan.
I would have just continued my trend of when she breaks into Marvel Studios and like all of those guys come around the corner to stop her, Stan Lee being the first one and just being like, no, that's it. I quit. I am done with this company, and storm out.
Yeah. Okay, what to do? Yeah, in the season finale.
Yeah,
it's great. Into his arc. Anything else about this episode? Titania shows up, and I still don't know what her purpose is in the show, other than
antagonist.
She was fun at the wedding. Yeah, but not like much of an antagonist. Just a couple of times, right?
Yeah. The two of the things that I was disappointed by in the show, but it's not because they did it badly.
Right.
It's because
Night Kyle.
Night Kyle.
Thanks for chatting.
It's not because they did it badly, but because it wasn't what I wanted it to be. So I can't complain about it too much. I was hoping Titania would at some point become more like real Titania, and I would have liked to have seen the Wrecking Crew actually be intimidating losers rather than just losers.
That I would agree with that. Like I think that's one thing that the MCU has hinted at, but not gone in depth enough on, other than the Spider-Man movie, which is the low-level superpower crime that like you don't need a Hulk for, but you definitely can't send a cop to. Like that
the kind of crime that you could potentially have NFL Super Pro show up to fight.
Exactly.
That is never going to happen.
Wait, Super Pro? Do they at some point have superpowered people in the NFL? Is that what's?
No, but they did have a superpowered professional wrestling federation. But no, there was a character in Marvel called NFL Super Pro.
Yeah, and he looks suspiciously like the G.I. Joe Gridiron, who threw football-shaped grenades.
Nice, but not Mutant League football. We can do that for Mutant Temper next year. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to bring up was they put the like power inhibitor thing on her ankle, I guess, and that was something that Bruce Banner had been working on, and it's kind of screwed up, right? But then now is that just a technology that they have?
I know they said it was an inhibitor, but
right.
I wonder whether it was actually supposed to inhibit her, or if it was basically just an ankle monitor, like how Abomination had.
Yeah.
Because Abomination's thing didn't stop him from transforming; it just let them know if he did.
Right.
Except it didn't actually let them know anything.
Right.
But I know that inhibitor technology is a thing in the Marvel universe that but it is one of those things that like constantly breaks down or is only really useful in a penitentiary where they can either keep it charged or keep it running. So this they treated more like an ankle monitor, I think.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a monitor thing. I think I might have just intuited that it was a inhibitor because it was part of the deal was that she wasn't supposed to, but she did when she wanted to. So I guess that makes sense. The other thing I had to talk about in this was: were you guys surprised to find out that the head of the Intelligentsia was that guy. It's Todd or whatever his name is. Kevin? No.
Oh, that dude was Hulk King.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
They were setting him up to be some sort of epic level scumbag.
Yeah.
I
Like-
feel like, yeah, because he was the only one of those shitty dates that kept coming back. But
Here it is. NFL Super Pro. Yeah. Keeping everything going. I could be mistaken, but I need him alive more than you need him dead. Was he an NFL player that became a superhero?
I believe so.
He was just a big fan.
I think that he was a professional football player that was injured, and then he got superpowers later, totally separate from his injury. It wasn't
Right.
like he tripped on like a radioactive isotope in the field or something.
Right. He got hit in the head too hard, but with a piece of gamma irradiated rock. So his CT was the good kind. And gave him powers.
Oh no, the uniform is the powers.
Oh, okay. He was in a special suit.
No, the special suit when it interacted with other experimental chemicals made him super strong. Sorry, I'm like reading the wiki in real time.
yeah, that's definitely more Super Pro reading than I have ever done.
I
I know
own
more about Super Pro than most people.
I owned Super Pro 1. I think that I read 2 issues of it.
Wow. Can't imagine there were very many issues though.
12.
There you go. Win Prairie Game of the Season almost. I think.
But yeah, I don't
yeah.
have a whole
Yeah.
lot more to add to this episode other than saying again that I liked it.
Actually, that could be a character in She-Hulk.
Super
Yeah,
Pro.
I can see that.
NFL
Yeah.
Super Pro. Except they
Yeah.
wouldn't call him NFL Super Pro, and they would keep
Right.
finding ways around having to say the NFL part. And
Right.
his whole thing is that he's getting sued by the NFL for using the term NFL Super Pro.
Right. With the blur out his chest
Mhm.
insignia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
like
totally
that.
feel like that could absolutely be an episode of She-Hulk.
Yeah. That would be good. That would be good. No.
Like maybe it's a dude that used to play on the same team as Pug in high school or something.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's why he goes to. I keep forgetting the name of the firm. I want to say Landau, Luckman, and Lake, but that's a Wolverine firm.
And it's not Wolfram and Hart. That's from Angel.
That's from Angel.
It's
Yeah.
H something and how or
Yeah, I
G
think it's just
G
random
something
letters
and
that don't
H.
make sense.
GLKH.
Yeah.
So who knows what that is?
Wait, is that
Luckman,
who?
Lieber, Kurtzberg, and I don't
Those
know
have to
who
be
the
like
H
artists
is.
or
Holloway.
comic book people, right?
Yeah. What does who does Carrie Ann Moss work for in Daredevil?
Let me look that up. There was something else I wanted to talk about. I keep pinging it and forgetting what it was. I wanted to talk. Was me.
Is in Jessica
Well,
Jones. And Jerry worked for.
She works for. Oh wait.
Yeah, what's that thing? I forgot it. Yeah, well, I think it's gonna be that.
Hogarth, Chow, and Benowitz.
That's a name. That's just a good specific. Hogarth and Chow together is nice.
But yeah, GLK and H, Goodman, Lieber, Kurtzberg, and Holloway. It's references to the founder of Marvel or Timely, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and Holloway is the character that they had.
Not Josh Holloway, who played Sawyer on Lost.
No,
That's it. Yeah, what was I gonna say? I'll figure it out for next week.
Martin
Next week,
Goodman.
next week we're talking about cartoons where She-Hulk guest stars. There's like 4 or 5 I'm gonna put them on Twitter. If you're not following us on Twitter, at Apollo Koala.
Are we gonna have people vote?
Sure.
Or are we going to just watch all of those? Because that's kind of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot. I was thinking like 4 of them, maybe? Because they're like half-hour episodes, right? So we can do 4.
The
What do you
the
guys
Ultimate Spider-Man one is a 23, 24, 25. It's a 4-episode arc.
Oh, jeez. Oh, okay. Oh, so maybe it's that.
So we could do that one, or we could do like one of the 2-episode ones, like the 94 Fantastic Four,
Ooh.
or we could do 2 other ones, because Incredible Hulk 82, Fantastic Four 2006, and Marvel Superhero Squad show are all 3-episode ones.
It's the Marvel Superhero Squad show. That sounds like a.
That's the kids'
show for
cartoon
babies?
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I don't want to do that.
I thought that was going to be the reason why you wanted to do that one.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's a show for babies. Yeah, let's do that one.
I could go either way with it, but yeah.
The Ultimate Spider-Man one, I don't think that it's going to concentrate on She-Hulk at all, but she'll be present in it.
Right.
Because it's called Contest of Champions, and Contest of Champions was the first big event crossover thing that Marvel did before the real event crossover big first thing that they did, which was Secret Wars.
Oh. So I think we might just do the Fantastic Four. Maybe we'll do that. That's 3 episodes?
2 episodes of the 94 cartoon, 1 episode of the 2006 cartoon.
And I don't know much about Fantastic Four, so maybe that'll be a good thing. What do you guys think of that?
I think just doing the 94 cartoon is good enough. Just doing the 2 episodes of that one.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about Fantastic Four guest star She-Hulk.
The 2 episodes that we're going to watch are To Battle the Living Planet and Doomsday.
Yes, from the 1994 cartoon season 2. So 19 and 20.
So presumably it'll be about Ego and Doctor Doom.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, so
Cool.
that's it for we'll continue Gen Walt-tober through next week, and then maybe even through November. We'll see if anyone gets tired of talking about She-Hulk.
I feel like after Werewolf by Night, we definitely have to think of something else to watch.
Okay.
Well, it's my choice next, so I will come up with something for us.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. So, see you all next week for a couple episodes of Fantastic Four to talk about the cartoon. And, good night. Thanks for watching.
Night.
Bye. We don't have any kind of sign